Beast Boy Lone Wolf is the future of cartoons. It might be one of the more revolutionary DC adaptations that we've seen in the modern era. It follows Beast Boy after the Teen Titans have sort of disbanded as he pursues a crime-fighting career on his own, with a sort of sidekick Mickey by his side and his police officer friends supporting him from the shadows. But let me give you a few reasons why this show will be the future of animation. Firstly is the short episodic nature of this show. You see, it consists of about 10 episodes, each being 3 minutes long, and the first episode demonstrates what seems to be Beast Boy's first solo debut, as he comes in onto a bank robbery and makes quick work of the robbers that are there, while being cheered on by a fan, soon-to-be friend, Mickey, who is also a hostage in the robbery. Beast Boy shows off his variety in skills with all of the quick transformations that he has, and I really like it, along with him trying not only to affirm the hostages but also himself that he is indeed the lone wolf and that he's operating by himself. You know, Mickey finally goes into detail and tells them that, you know, he is Beast Boy from the Teen Titans. He's the silly one, he's the stupid one. And that kind of opposes what he's trying to portray himself as, which is a solo acting superhero. After the battle with the frog villain finishes, he is caught up by the police and has to kind of vouch for himself with using the fact that he was a part of the Teen Titans and he was the silly one indeed.
He's the silly one. I'm not the silly one.
Even though the show has each episode be so short, I like that it still sort of has a mini character arc going on with Beast Boy, and they've already started to show that he is working towards seeing himself or being seen as being a capable superhero and standing on his own. It was created by Reese Byfield and produced by Hanna-Barbera Studios Europe. Reese shows us his talent in telling stories in one of the shortest forms of expression. A style like this is very reminiscent of classical Looney Tunes or maybe other hit cartoons like Tom and Jerry or even SpongeBob. I personally enjoy the short episodes, not only because it has a simplistic plot that I can follow, which is huge because it makes it a lot easier for me to get into the show without sinking in a huge time commitment. I don't have to really watch 10 entire seasons of 40-minute episodes to be able to understand that right here Beast Boy is trying to take on Killer Moth on a train for a briefcase. And I really like that, especially as an adult. We have so much less time to watch shows, and I've been suggested like a crap ton of movies and TV shows that, hey, I need to watch Lord of the Rings, the entire series. Dude, that's 9 hours. I'm not gonna watch that. Oh my god! So with the fact that the entirety of this show just rounds out to be about 29 minutes in total that I can just binge while I'm eating breakfast is actually pretty huge. But Reese definitely left his mark on the show, as his very simplistic art style is what covers the design aspects of the entirety of the cartoon, with artwork very similar to his own other cartoon short project that he worked on, which is called The Hunt from 2018. The episodic nature is even more excellent in enabling Reese to build on the unrestricted mode of storytelling. What I mean by this is the fact that he's able to tell different stories in an environment through Beast Boy without having to go through all the regular plot beats and setups that would necessarily be in a serialized program. Being able to escape that is probably one of the best things that could ever happen for the team, and it shows in the way Beast Boy's villains appear in the show. Not to really spoil too much of them, but come on, he fights a freaking frog with a gun. I mean, dude, that's pretty damn cool. I really like that guy. And it also gives him to really get to push the limits of the capabilities of what Beast Boy can do, having him transform into stuff that he most definitely would never transform into under normal circumstances. Like, come on now, like come on now, this is kind of ridiculous. But this is an aspect that I also like, is the creative expression of his powers. Each iteration of Beast Boy, except that one ridiculous one from the Teen Titans Netflix show, don't watch that, I hate it, has an ability to transform into any animal that is known on Earth, and that in itself is already a fun concept that deserves full exploration. So a highlight of this show is that kind of animal variety that we get to see be shown off in Beast Boy's fights. It makes his skill and fight scenes very interesting because you never really know what animal he will transform into next in order to fit the situation beyond just becoming a freaking gorilla. I mean, he does that a lot in every single iteration of Beast Boy, except this guy. This guy's just a tiger. It's so ridiculous. Those kinds of powers are making him such an overwhelmingly strong superhero without having him lose his own unique, fun, loving personality. And I think that's definitely a thing that we have to really be grateful for with this show, by not trying to make Beast Boy overly gritty or overly comedic. Losing certain grounding factors of his character like that would probably be really bad. So he fulfills himself as a comedic relief to his own story while simultaneously being able to become that serious, skilled protagonist that we like to see in action shows. And we all know that when Beast Boy gets ready to lock in, he can be a scary ass dude. So of course we need to have someone a bit more serious though in order to stand juxtaposed to Beast Boy's personality and skill, and that person is Mickey. Mickey is a good logical counter to Beast Boy. She is a young girl with no superpowers who is voiced by Liv Andrewser. She's a theater actor, and according to Google, this is her first animated role. I enjoy the character's sort of rigidness in comparison to Beast Boy's flexibility and spontaneousness. She's a kid, she has a job, she seems to be relatively orderly, and she creates a good dynamic between the two of them, as she is also pretty intuitive and intelligent, becoming the brains while Beast Boy is the brawn. Even though Liv really does have a different demeanor than Beast Boy overall, they aren't that different, as she is actually a fan of Beast Boy and the rest of the Teen Titans themselves. She has a pretty simplistic American kid design, which doesn't make her too hard to relate to as a character, and she probably fits herself into the show as being the audience's means of becoming a part of the thing itself, giving us the audience's reaction and perspective from being just a normal person watching all of this fantastical stuff happen with a green guy who can turn into different animals. She doesn't show up that much though. She shares screen time, of course, with Beast Boy. I guess the show is called Lone Wolf for a reason. But Liv's portrayal of Mickey is still pretty good. And of course there's also Greg Sipes. The lead man of the show has been voicing Beast Boy for years. He might just be the definitive voice of Beast Boy at this point, as he does a perfect rendition and delivery of the character. And I just love his work overall.
Activating detective mode.
The other supporting roles are all comedic in their own way, especially the villains themselves. I like how they're able to balance some serious moments with also having extents of being gag characters, especially the Toadman. Can you tell that I really like this frog character? He's really cool. Overall though, they're pretty funny, and I enjoy the comedic timings of the show, the self-deprecating humor as well that Beast Boy does to himself, as it kind of is used to show that he's building on himself and his own self-confidence. His style almost reminds me of Michael from The Office, as they are both self-deprecating heads of their own story.
You may not be the strongest superhero, or the smartest, or have the best powers, or... Is there a butt coming? But you're Beast Boy!
It's a brand of humor I subscribe to, especially when these kinds of protagonists do amazing things in the story. However, what really cements it as the future of animation is that all of this stuff can be put together into becoming a replicable formula. The style of having short episodic stories for the casual viewer to enjoy is a priceless format that is as old as the concept of a cartoon itself. Dating back to the very first Walt Disney Mickey Mouse animations, a short comedic story has always been a great piece, and especially in the social media age, a comedic out of context scene works miracles for marketing your IP, basically for free.
We use an enormous death ray to blast Starro to...
Kingdom come, this is my kingdom.
Especially if it becomes a meme. This kind of format that the Lone Wolf has captured will be very replicable based on the success of the current episodes. The 3-minute episode format would easily be carried on for multiple different IPs and projects, and for the good or for the bad of it, it might be one of the most infectious things to continue to bring back Western animation. Hopefully, if we're lucky, we can probably get a Ben 10 version of something like this. I mean, anything at this point would be good beyond just a comic. But what do you guys think about the Lone Wolf show if you've watched it already? Is it any good to you? Comment that down below.